cause I'm back again. I'm reading.
Hit the like button, fool.
What up, everybody? She got Swin back again with another story time with T. Hurricane Katrina, for real. So, when Hurricane Katrina had hit, I was stationed down in Ingleside, Texas, which is like 30 miles away from Corpus Christi. I was on my shore duty at the time, military police. So Hurricane Katrina had hit New Orleans. And my command came to me because on the news they were showing all the chaos that was happening in New Orleans. It was looking like a war zone. So they showed people shooting, having gunfights, they showed looting, stuff like that. So my command had came because everybody was, each branch of military was sending people down to New Orleans to help out. So my command had came to me. My chief had called me late in the evening. I think this is the day after the hurricane had hit. And on the news, they were showing people walking in water, people walking with mattresses. They showed people walking out with TVs, all kind of stuff. They were showing all the shooting and all that kind of stuff. And so my chief had called me that evening. She called me coming to the office. She was like, I'm sure that you see what's happening in New Orleans. And the Navy wanted to send some people down to New Orleans. I said, I'll go. Before she could finishing her sentence, I told her I'll go. Because at the same time, we had the war going on. I think it was Iraqi freedom. And I had buddies in the Army, I had buddies in the Marines that was out there. And in those branches, they have no say. You get orders to go over there, that's where you go. You know, and a couple of my buddies had already been in action. And so this was my time to do my part and protect people and, and get in action. So I volunteered before she could even finish. So she asked me, I was like, yeah. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, ain't no problem. Because my brothers in the other branches, they was out there, and they had to be out there. So I said, man, this is my opportunity to protect people, and I'm going. So I was the first person to volunteer. Of course, there were some other people that volunteered. They volunteered because they wanted to get some certificates or some medals. Yeah, they wanted to look good, not because they wanted to help people. And so she told me to get my sea bag ready. I got my sea bag ready. I made up at the police station on the base. We got our weapons. I carried up a Beretta 9 and a shotgun, Mossberg 12 gauge. Also, we had the M14s. We had the M16s also. But yeah, got my bag ready. The next day, we go to Corpus Christi Naval Air Station. They put us on little Cessna planes to fly to New Orleans. So we fly over, we see all the water. And I've been driving back from Texas to Louisiana, Mississippi all the time. So highway covered with water. It didn't even look like what it used to. It didn't look like what you would see on the map. It was just covered with water. So we get there, we land. I'm ready for action. I'm ready to hit the ground running. We get to the police station. They put us with in sections and all that kind of stuff. They had us sleeping in the gym on the basketball court. We were hot racking. If you don't know what that means that you share a bed with somebody. When that person is on shift, you're off shift sleeping. You're supposed to sleep in that rack. When it's time for you to go on duty, you go on duty, then that person sleeps in that rack. So we were sleeping on cots in the basketball gym at NASJRB New Orleans, Joint Reserve Base. It has every branch of military. It's an air station too. So, we were showing them perimeter and stuff like that. Some of us were split up to do outside, outside patrols and deployments, throughout the city, looking for survivors and things like that. So, I got tasked with being on the base. Every now and then I got a chance to go outside the gate. But, so while we was there, and all that chaos, money was no good. Money couldn't buy anything, You had to have something that you could trade with somebody and stuff like that. So while all this chaos was going on, the TVs are constantly showing people in the streets looting and all this kind of stuff. The streets were empty, but the TV kept showing people of color stealing and stuff like that. But there was nobody in the streets. we didn't have any running water on base at first. Cafeteria was shut down, so we had MREs. We had MREs. We were stocked up on MREs. So that's what we ate in MREs. So they told us not to give any food or water to anybody that came up to the gates. You know, me being the person that I am, I pay attention to my surroundings. I would work the gate, the entry points at the gate, and I would do perimeter watches and all that kind of stuff. So I saw the cutout zones in the cameras, because we would have people come up to the gates asking for food and water. Now, every company in America was sending food and water down to where we were at. We had air hangers full of food. Every company you name, air hangers full of food. We had like tents set up for people and everything. Eventually, they got the water running. They took us out of the gym and put us in rooms. So when people would come up to the gates, why they told us not to give any food and water to people, I have no idea. The base was filled with only military personnel in every branch. There was one survivor on the whole base that I knew of, and I thought she was an employee because she was in the gym. She would pass out Gatorades and pass out towels and stuff for people to take showers. So I asked her how long she had been working at the gym. She said, baby, they rescued me. She said, I was on the roof of my apartments and the helicopter came down and picked me up. She said there was a malfunction with the helicopter, so they had to stop on the base. And that's how she wound up on base. We had all these tents and all this water and food for survivors, but there was no survivors on base, just only military personnel. And that lady was the only person on base to my knowledge. And that was only because the helicopter had a malfunction and had to stop at base, en route to taking her to the Superdome or the convention center where they had a lot of people. And as you remember, the Superdome ceiling was caving in with people in there. And like I said, the base told us not to give any food or water to anybody at the gate that came up to the gate. So people would come up. I went in the police department, I looked at security cameras, I see where the cutout points was. So I would take the vehicle and say, I'm getting MREs set up at the post, and I would hide them in the bushes where the cameras couldn't see. So when people would come up to the gate, I would go up to the gate, talk to them, and tell them to, go to the side over here, I can sneak you something. So I was sneaking people MREs and water. Some of the people that came up to the gate, they would be found dead the next day. There was a man and a baby that came up to the gate. They were found dead the following day. There was a young lady, she was found dead. They said that she was had been sexually assaulted and dead, and found her body spray painted, laying in the ditch. So I would sneak people food and water. We said, the Arab on the base had ordered some Greyhound buses to go out and bring the people that were in the Superdome and the convention center back to the base. So I was at that gate when the Greyhound buses came. I inspected them to make sure they was all good before they went out to go pick the people up. I was happy because we had all this food and water, and I said these people are going to be able to come here and be able to eat and clean themselves up and have shelter. So I was happy that we was doing something good. I'm at the gate. The buses can't come back. I can't wait to tell these people that they're okay. We got food and water and shelter for them. I get on the bus. The buses are empty. I asked the bus driver, where the people at? They said that the local police had pulled guns on them as they were coming with the people from the convention center in Superdome and told them to turn the buses around and take the people back where they got them from. This is the truth. This is the real. So man, my heart was broke because I just knew that I was going to accompany these people with happy news. You know what I'm saying? Another thing too is that when I came across people that were coming up to the gates, they had also told me that they had saw the Army Corps of Engineers blow the levees. They had multiple people come up to the gates and say, yeah, we saw the Army Corps of Engineers blow the levees. Also, I had people come up to the gates and say that the local authorities would put them up in buildings and say that they was coming back to get them a food and water, and never came back. So it was a lot of stuff going on that the news wasn't showing, because the news was just replaying people looting, and there was nobody in the streets. So I was there in New Orleans for 2 weeks, doing what I could to help, and it was just breaking my heart the whole time I was there. And so that's the real of things that went down in Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans while I was there. This is the truth coming from me. I received an award for being down there and doing my part. You know, so everything I tell you guys is legit. So it's a lot of things that people won't tell y'all and or say about that. But these are the real things that happened while I was there. And that is story time with T. For a long time, that situation, it still bothers me to this day. When I see like damage from hurricanes and see how people are suffering, it bothers me. It does something to me. And, I live in Texas, and hurricanes come a lot through here. So it bothers me a lot when I see people going through these things, because I witness it, And at that time, it was every man for himself. Government wasn't really doing too much. It was either people in the area or surrounding states that was helping people out. Just like when Hurricane Harvey hit, it was the people taking care of the people, And it was so crazy during that time too, because there was no help that came. There was a lot that was like to really help the people. There's like really nothing that came. But right around that time, Thailand had a tsunami, and our government sent all kind of water and food and hospital ships over there. It was a long time before we got any assistance in our own country, in the area that was needed. It was a long time before the president even made an appearance. Oprah made an appearance before the president did. Crazy stuff. That's story time with T. I'm out. Talk to y'all later.
Life goes on and we gotta do the work. I can't lie, look in my eyes, that shit hurt. They put diseases in my people just to see how they affect us. Tap our phone calls and try hard to disconnect us from humanity. We getting killed for bright lights, but they can shoot up the whole church and get a chance to plead insanity. Tell me what's the logic in that? It's insane. And we not supposed to voice our opinions or feel pain. Exposed us to trauma, fed our babies to the gators. You ain't gotta search the galaxy to find the space invaders. They stole from our ancestors and they still stealing. We all know who the real villain, and he's still killing. They love